Tingles with flyby. Daily ASMR videos. Hello, my tinglings, and welcome to this video. Lovely. So I had one of my tinglings, Goldilocks is a borderline, who asked a question because she said she always likes to hear more about me and my perspectives and the way I think about things. And one topic I thought would be interesting to discuss that she brought up was about having biological children. So as many of you know, I have my son who I met when he was 14 over the internet. I've called myself an internet mom sometimes, but who does live with me now. He's 24 now. And yeah, so I mean we have that mother-son bond that's never going anywhere. But I've never had biological children. And I probably won't. So, yeah, I guess this is about kind of why. I've actually gone through lots of different feelings towards motherhood throughout my life. So when I was really young, kind of when I viewed myself getting older, I didn't actually view myself getting married. I just thought of myself as somebody who would live on my own and then get out and jog every morning. I don't think I even read books where people were jogging every morning, and I don't like running. But anyway, that was just kind of the type of person I thought I'd like. That really resonated with me as, you know, the type of person I would be. It's just the type of person who would, a woman living on her own, getting out, jogging every morning. And so that was kind of, I guess, like my default when I was really young for how I thought about things. I've not really been super attached to the idea of kids from when I was really young or anything like that. And I actually really had very little interest in children until my niece was born. Well, when my sister got pregnant the first time, I was so excited. And I was just like, yes, you know, just I couldn't wait to be an aunt. I was just so excited to be an aunt. And super emotional when I met her for the first time. I could hold her and she had this little brace on. That's my niece Autumn, who I did a hairbrushing video for my two oldest nieces while they were here in January. And pretty special experiences with both of them when I first met them. With Autumn, she was a week old, and with Prairie, I actually was there when she was born. And just great experiences. And so I loved those experiences, and so that made me a little bit more open to the idea of, you know, motherhood and having children. When I was married to my ex, he had, don't know what my tummy's doing. You get to hear everything with me. I'm sure that's super relaxing for you. Maybe it's relaxing for you to just know that that's, you know, just normal. Everyone makes sounds like that, even some crazy lady on the internet. Anyway, so yeah, so when I was married the last time, and my ex had fibromyalgia, and I just thought life was too stressful with me taking care of him that I definitely didn't have time to take care of someone else, basically, particularly a baby. And so I kind of always thought, oh yeah, maybe when I'm 25 or 30 I'll, you know, have a kid then, that maybe we'd get to that point. And then Mark came along and, you know, I invested a lot of time, you know, taking care of him and emotionally being there for him through some really tough times, and, you know, we developed that bond that we share today. That's very special to both of us. And when with him I was just like, oh, you know, I just thought it would be amazing to share that bond with him. And I think that, because I had not a lot of support from my ex or my sister, who were kind of the two closest people to me at the time, I think then when I thought about having kids, I thought, oh, you know, then I'll have somebody who will take my side. And so that wasn't really, not necessarily the best reason to have a child, but anyway. But, you know, being more open-minded, I guess, is what I was really looking for. And then me and my ex split. And I kind of still thought I would have kids at that point. I was Mormon at the time as well, and so, you know, it's very, very kid and baby-centric in Mormondom, so that's part of it. But, and then another part of it was just, so my mom had this friend, Laverne, who we knew in Maryland, and we were in Utah. Anyway, I went to go and visit her. I spent this amazing day with her and her family, and she had I think she has 9 kids. I don't know how many kids. 8 to 10, probably. I think it's 9. Maybe 8, though. I mean, she has a lot of kids. And I just spent this amazing day with them, and I thought that was great. I was just like, man, it'd be amazing to have a family like that. And so then after that, I just was like, oh yeah, just want to have a really big family. So when me and my love first got together, we were going to try and just get pregnant straight away. We didn't get pregnant in the first little bit, it was only really one cycle of mine that we were not trying to prevent pregnancy. And anyway, and then, you know, everything kind of fell apart there for him and how he was going and everything like that, and he just is not ready, you know, to be a parent. And I think, and we've gone through lots of different times with having kids and not having kids. So it was probably there was lots and lots of tears in the first years of our marriage, just because of, and well, there were lots of different things. Part of it was getting used to the really hard time that he was having, and he kept trying to push me away because he was trying to protect me from what was going on with him and that sort of thing. And it took me a long time to realize that that's what that was, and that when he was talking about breaking up, then it wasn't really that he actually wanted to break up with me. So lots of tears for that. But anyway, one of these times was we went to a hotel, and he was like, I'm not sure I want to have kids, so I have to break up with you. And like, he was basically, well, he was like, I have to break up with you because I'm not sure if I want to have kids. So he phrased it like that he was just, done with me. And I'm like, well, shouldn't I get some consideration about whether I want to have kids right now or not? Anyway, the settling down time from that was that he just didn't feel ready to have kids right then, which, with everything he was going through emotionally, makes complete sense. And so I always thought, oh yeah, maybe at some point down the road we might have kids. And basically since then it's been very on again, off again, probably 80 to 90% of the time we think we probably won't have kids, and 10 to 20% of the time we think, maybe we will have kids. But now that we have a better idea of what we want to do into the future, as far as, taking care of animals and doing captive breeding potentially and that sort of thing, I think we may not end up having, I think we'll probably end up on the side of not having any biological children. Probably won't have other children otherwise either, except our little fur babies, but just because I think we'll invest a lot of time into that, and I think that will be a very satisfying legacy to have, I suppose. But for me, I'm not necessarily, there are things that I like the idea of having kids. Just going through the experience of being pregnant sounds, interesting. Not that it wouldn't be a challenge and that sort of thing, but but part of the reason for me right now that I don't want to have kids right now is, a lot of it is just because of my love's borderline, and I don't say that to, anyway, I'm not saying what I think anybody else should be doing. I think it's a very personal decision of when to have kids and that sort of thing, so I'm not trying to generalize to anybody else who suffers from similar things. But for me, just the way, just the different times that he has, can be very tumultuous, and I don't think that's the best environment for little baby or children to have, and I think those things can cause lots of upheaval and feelings of non-safety, which can cause lots of issues. And so I don't necessarily think it's a very good time. There's a lot that's decreasing a lot, and my love is getting a lot better. So, and that I always kind of figured that he would probably, because he's, in a lot of therapy, that he probably would get well enough that I think we could have kids in a period of time where I still would be able to have kids. But yeah, I don't anticipate having any more kids. I have my son, and I don't think that he'll have kids either, actually, so yeah, I just think you can choose your family, and that's fine. I think the thing for me most is that most people have kids, and so there's a lot that I, can't relate to people about, even though, I mean, so I lived really close, like I lived right next door to my sister when she had very young kids, and so I've been around very young kids on a very, very regular basis, so I do feel like I have a pretty good understanding of things without ever actually having been, you know, the person doing the things, if you know what I mean, which is obviously a completely different experience. But as much as you can understand it without being that person, I think I do. And then obviously, well, I've had my own experience with teenagers, so I understand that side quite well, and can be difficult. But obviously every person's unique, and so the challenges with each person are going to be different. Never had to worry about drugs or anything like drugs and drinking. But yeah, did have other things to worry about, which I had good reason to worry about. But anyway, that's not really what this is about. But that being said, I don't know, there are lots of other things that come through my mind. You know, Andrew's dad, he is partly psychopathic, partly a narcissist. Those sort of traits, and having that in a child is concerning to me. And having to raise somebody through 18 years, not that I think nurture does have a big impact, but, you know, I think my ex was a sociopath, and so, yeah. So I mean, it's different because, my son doesn't feel empathy, but yeah, he's not a bad guy, you know, so feeling empathy, I guess, doesn't necessarily determine how you're going to turn out, and I do agree with that, but yeah, anyway, but so those sort of things have concerned me in the past. They concern me less now. Well, also because I'm not really thinking about having kids, but it's also just, I mean, it's a huge decision to jump into that, you know. It's a lifetime, and I don't know, I have, you know, things that, I guess it's also, you know, for me, like, I love my relationship with my love, and I love just chilling out in bed and going out to dinner, and, you know, and he gets overwhelmed with things as it is without having to take care of a baby on top of that, and lacking sleep and all that. I don't know, it sounds like more than what I want to deal with right now. I mean, especially considering what we're going through, but as I said, I mean, it's never been something that I've felt really strongly about. Kind of as my baseline, I think, natural way to be. I'm really kind of chill, not having kids. And then I've had, you know, punctuated periods of high hormones and, oh, you know, we could have kids, that sort of thing. There was this one time when I was ovulating, and I could tell I was ovulating because I was just, you know, neither my love nor I had a job. We were living on a very small income from the government, and, you know, not much it was not a very good time. Like, this is, you know, in the heart of all these emotional issues coming to light, things falling apart with his family and everything like that. But I was just like, oh yeah, we should just have a baby. And I was like, we can make it work. And I was all like very hormonal. We didn't try to have a baby then. But yeah, I've got like, sometimes I'll have a dream and then it'll make me think, oh, it'd be nice to have a baby. And the thing is, I mean, it's the same way how it's been, you know, how it is with Mark and that sort of thing. I'm not really worried about being a good parent. If we did have a kid, I'm not worried about that at all. I think if I make that decision, or even if, you know, if it kind of happens because it happens, I'm not really concerned about, you know, what type of parent I'd be. I have very good examples from my own parents and that sort of thing. That being said, I mean, you know, it's stressful and your worst aspects come out when you get super stressed, but I think, you know, I would be fine. And I think my love would make a very good father as well. Yeah, but I think exposure to the uncertainty that there is in our lives right now would not necessarily be the best, which is kind of, to me, a little bit separate from him as a father, if that makes sense. Because I think his direct interactions with the child would be very good if we had one, but I think it would be more so anyway, I think he would react differently though if we had a kid, as far as like his suicidal periods and that sort of thing are. But it's just something that I don't, anyway, I just think adding more stress to the situation is not a good idea. But things are getting a lot better recently, and it feels like his therapy is really getting some traction, so that's really good. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts about having biological children. Well, as I said, when I was younger, I didn't really care for kids that much. Ever since that my sister had her kids, I've been a much bigger fan of kids, and I really like, you know, hanging out. Well, so I used to hang out with my younger cousins as well. So I have like kids. It's more so they have to be special kids to me. It's when I'm likely to have, you know, a relationship with them throughout their life, then like, yeah, you're a cool kid, and I'll, you know, take some time to have special times with you. So yeah, so I don't have any problem with kids. I'm not, I know there are a lot of people who end up not having kids who are very kind of disconnected and just think that kids shouldn't exist in the world and all this crap. I think it's absolute dumb, because everybody is a kid at one time, and our society needs kids, you know? We need kids in order to survive, but I just think, you know, there's enough other people having kids that, you know, my sister has 5, so she's more than, done more than a replacement. Anyway. So, yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Did I have anything else to say? Report line. Wishy-washy. You know, but anyway, you know, you never know. You don't quite know how the reality will be compared to what you kind of think, so we may still end up having kids at some point. If my love, you know, heals really well and is in a really good place, then, you know, I don't know what type of shape our life would take, and if that might be something we want to consider, but for right now, I think I'm quite happy. And that's the thing, I don't think I'll regret. I'm not the type of person who would regret not having kids. First of all, I already I have a mother-son relationship, so I'm not worried about that. For my love, I know he has complicated feelings towards children, where he's never really had a strong... Tummy's really going crazy. Where he's never really had a strong desire towards having kids, so he's kind of either way as well. So that's why I kind of think we're probably 80 to 90% won't have any biological children. But you never know. In 5 years, it could feel differently after we start surfing. We have this thing about that when I'm 35, we're going to learn how to surf. Anyway, that is the thing. Anyway, so thank you, Goldilocks is a borderline, for your question, and I hope they gave you a little insight into me and my thoughts about kids. I'm sure my mom will watch this video because I think she is probably interested in this, and I feel like she doesn't feel comfortable asking me, and so I'm not sure that she has asked me, even though I think she is interested, but I don't bring it up because I don't really care about talking about it, but yeah, I haven't had any issues with like infertility. I know that's a lot of reason why people don't like to ask about those sort of things as well, is because people can be trying and not having success, and that can obviously be a really painful experience to be going through. But that's not the case for me. But my heart does go out to people who are having that experience, because, you know, I don't want anybody to be feeling pain who wants to be having something, so thinking of all you people as well. Yeah, so that is basically that. Thanks for your interest in me and my personal life and my thoughts. If you have any other topics that you're interested in, let me know. I always like having these little chats with you all. So I will talk to you later, and I will see you tomorrow.